Case over before a murder trial. The city just hung all of the 4 officers. No fair trial here. A lot of people agreed with her. Her comment got a handful of likes. All right, Christa, what do you have to say about that?
Well, I would say that this is not an admission of guilt. First of all, the parties are completely different, and the police department is really who's on trial in the civil case for their training of Derek Chauvin, for their lack of reprimanding him for his prior bad acts and not reforming his training, for their own training policies, which allowed that kind of hold with a knee in the neck to exist. And so it's a different group of parties, it's a different group of circumstances, and a different burden of proof. So the city and the police department and Derek Chauvin and the other officers were not on trial in a civil venue for murder, but for wrongful death. And the burden of proof is preponderance of the evidence instead of beyond all reasonable doubt. And that is a significant difference right there. So I think that the city looked at it and realized that, that at a civil trial, they were likely to get hit, and it could have been a lot bigger and a bigger burden on the city. So that settlement, I don't think is out of bounds. It's a large settlement, but I don't think it's out of bounds. I have a problem with the timing of it. That's where I think it really, whatever you think about this case and whatever you think about Derek Chauvin, our system is built on the right to a fair trial. And in a criminal context, that is hugely important. And I have wondered all day long today, can this man get a fair trial? And I don't know that he can. And I mean that. And, will the verdict still be right and just if he's convicted? Potentially yes. Mm-hmm. So it's troubling.
Yeah, it's troubling, no question about it. But the question is, where could you take it and how long could you wait for him to actually get a fair trial? This is a tough one. All right, let's check in with Becky Morris. She says, yes, it will. The case was tainted from the very beginning anyway. This just sealed it. And again, I think that goes to what you were saying, Christa, the idea that, they announced this at this point in the trial, all the other things that we've heard about this trial, just it makes it very difficult to get a fair trial for any defendant in the situation that Derek Chauvin is in.
Well, by contrast, in the Breonna Taylor case, that case reached a settlement long before the trial, right? Well, we don't know if there's going to be a trial yet in that case. The feds are paneling a grand jury, I guess. But they announced it pretty quickly. Here, if they were going to reach this kind of conclusion or settlement, they should have done it long before that, jury selection was happening. I would have guessed that the city council should not have put this on its agenda during the middle of this trial, and that's what they did. They have control over their schedule, and these votes and these hearings are public. There was no way to keep this private from the community at large. So they chose to do this now. They should have waited a couple of months and put this on the agenda after. You reached the agreement with defense counsel and plaintiff's counsel, and you said you have a handshake deal. You might even have, an understanding or a signed release, that's in the works. And then you wait until after the verdict in the case before you announce the settlement.
Yeah, no doubt about it. If you work on it, if you come to a settlement prior to this whole process starting, then you announce it. If you don't, you wait the 6 weeks and you do it then. I don't understand it, but this is the way things went. All right, Lucy Nicholson says, yes, it's going to affect many people. I believe the judge should give the defense several more strikes to ensure a fair and impartial jury. Okay, now that actually happened today. And I thought, again, I think we talked about this earlier, Christa, that was certainly the right thing to do, at the least.
Absolutely, it is the right thing to do, and I'm glad that the judge did it. I also, as we said earlier, this judge is really liberal with his cause challenges. So I think that we're going to weed out the people that really want to, hang Derek Chauvin, for the lack of a better word.
Yeah, no question about it. All right, Christa Ramey, I want to thank you so much for being with me this evening. Always a pleasure to have you with us here on Court TV with all your wonderful experience and insights. I hope you'll come back and join us again.